Dun, 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 dun. Yo, peace and bless. Just finished work. Who am I now? I've got so many identities I can't bloody remember. Bob's your uncle here. Captain Pancake. Hello. Bob Flatley. Flat out Bob. Anyway, I'm just sitting here chilling out on the park here. It's actually amazing, the weather's. It's the 19th of October today, 2018, and it's warmish. It's beautiful. Look at that. Look at that. Check it out. Check it out. You know what I'm saying? It's 1 minute and 20 seconds have gone. I've not even said anything substantial, so I better get on with it. The earth is flat, we know, but I'm not talking about it today. Talk about tradition, actually. I want to talk about tradition. Is the topic of today's talk, and I've got to get the nuts. I've been eating some nuts and it's got bits of nuts in my teeth. Tradition. What is tradition? Tradition is like guidelines or rules, even, of cultural traditions. Various cultures and countries have different and varying traditions, covering all aspects of life: marriage traditions, funeral traditions, day-to-day traditions, even religious traditions, and the cultural programming. Most people are born into a particular country and with a particular culture, and they follow their traditions blindly. They don't even think about, is the tradition good or bad? I mean, some traditions are good and some traditions are bad, and some traditions are right horrendous. But traditions, I suppose the good traditions are the traditions that bind human society together, separates us from the animals. But having said that, separates us from the animals also have their tradition, and they stick with it. The tiger's tradition is to eat the deer and other herbivorous animals in the jungle to keep the population down, so that they don't destroy the jungle, so they don't eat too much vegetation. They eat the leaves of the trees, but if there's too many deer in the jungle, in the forest, just an rough example, too many deer in the forest, too many leaves get eaten, and then later on there's not enough food for the rest of the deer population, and the trees suffer and the ecosystem suffers. So the tigers need to be there or bears or wolves or whatever, need to be there the carnivorous animals need to be there to check the population of the herbivorous animals, who will basically eat nothing but vegetables and leaves. The deer's tradition is to eat the leaves of trees and the grass and just different things. Each animal has its tradition, and within their own society they have their traditions. I mean, two male deer with their antlers will fight out, and the one that wins gets the woman or gets the women, so that they can breed. But within the animal kingdom, all the animals are doing what they're supposed to be doing. They don't step outside their duty, dharma, as we say in India. Dharma, duty, religion, their religion. They're following their religion, their rules and their tradition religiously, so to speak. The animals do not. They follow their tradition according to their species. So I don't need to elaborate too much on that, but you get the general picture. Animals do. Each species has its part to play, and no animal deviates from that. Human beings, however, we've been endowed with reasoning faculty, questioning faculty. Why are we here? What are we doing here? And all the rest of it. And we can go one way or the other. You know, we can follow a tradition which is in harmony with nature, with harmony with the world, with harmony with our own spirituality, harmony with God. Or we can follow a tradition which is detrimental to the environment, exploitative tradition, like the traditions of, say for example in Spain, the tradition of bullfighting, you know. That is a tradition that needs to be completely taken out. But there's a tradition that needs to go. I mean, that is absolutely barbaric and savage and brutal, and it's not human. Human beings shouldn't be doing that, you know. Bullfighting in Spain, you know, and some, I think they do in the south of France as well. Any type of tradition that, and fox hunting in the UK with the toffs, the la-di-da aristocrats doing their traditional fox hunting. Anything, any tradition which involves cruelty to animals or cruelty to humans even, such traditions need to be stopped, banned. Traditions do change over time as well. Throughout the ages, traditions do change. Sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse, but they do change, you know. It depends. Things change, cultures change, languages change, religions change, traditions change. Religious traditions or cultural traditions or whatever. Village traditions. Funeral traditions. So in India, the tradition is to burn the body the day the person dies, throw the ashes into the river Ganges, if they live near it, the holy river Ganges, or any of the holy rivers, or if they're not near the river Ganges, any river will do, so to speak. Throw the ashes into a river on the very day they pass from their body, and then the male, I'm not sure what the woman does, I can't remember now, but the male son, say for example the son of the father whose father just passed away, he will just wear 2 pieces of white cloth around his middle and around his top, shave his head completely, and eat nothing but really plain, bland, vegetarian food. No spices, just like plain rice and plain lentils for about 13 days. I don't know, it depends which part of India you're in, but there's a tradition where a man will live kind of like austerely. He'll shave his head completely, wear 2 pieces of white cloth, and eat nothing but bland rice and lentils, and I think he's only allowed to sleep a certain amount of time as well. It's to give the father a good send-off, you know, after doing a little tapasya. Philippines, on the other hand, they have a different tradition of funeral tradition. Because it's a Catholic country, predominantly Catholic, and the Protestants also follow the Catholic tradition. They do the same thing in South America as well. Catholics, you know, it's they keep the body in the house. The body of the deceased person stays in the house of where they lived, the parent, mother or father, whoever, and they keep the body there for God knows how many days, weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, or I'm not sure if there's a specific amount of days, but they keep them there for a couple of weeks, around about 2 weeks, and the people are always in vigil, seeing, you know, there's maybe a band playing outside, and then people are always coming and visiting, and I don't know, it's like that's their way of sending off the beloved, their nearest and dearest, keeping the body in the house, and then after that they'll bury the body after 2 weeks. Here in England, the body stays in the chapel of rest. Some people like to visit the body, some people don't, it's optional. My mum died last year. We could have visited my mother in the chapel of rest, but we chose not to, because the person's not there anymore. The body's there, but the person's there. The body is rotting. The soul has gone. The soul has gone. The body is rotting, and I'm going to have to stop this because I think we've got around 10 minutes on YouTube. But that's the tradition, you know, funeral traditions. Part 2 coming up at some point. I might be in Nottingham next time I do the next video, because I'm going to Nottingham this evening, see my brother on his narrowboat. Part 2 on traditions coming up.